Welcome, good afternoon to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Your best consistent analysis channel or YouTube. Any other was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. And this afternoon, we get the latest update in the transfer conversation, and that's what we are bringing to you. Of course, we've said it several times that in terms of analysis, there isn't any place that's better than us, to be very honest with you. You don't get it any better than you get it from you on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Someone subscribe to the channel, and I'm sure subscribe to the channel and turn on notification and make sure say anytime we are better notification, you better drop, you better choose all as well. Send about anytime we are content, you better drop, you are first of it. It's very imperative, very important, very important for you to do that. I'm had a consistent update. Morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, and morning one area, bro. Of course, it was a video from Wireless Production the last time, and yeah, bro talking about Garnacho and in Kuku, how the players should go next signing money. I know a lot of Chelsea fans do not agree, but then that's another opinion from another top analyst that I wanted you to enjoy. Also, because there have been an update over there in the transfer markets on the Matthias Tel conversation. There's also been an update on centre back at Chelsea, Hodgson, and also yesterday what happened. But we cannot go on with the transfer conversation without talking about Enra Niesi at Etihad. To be very honest, Enra was a big opportunity for Chelsea to relaunch their season. City team have been struggling, but everybody also understands that for Chelsea, in the last few weeks and months, the results have been inconsistent, largely inconsistent. And there was the need to find a way at Chelsea for will do their stuff more consistently and get results as the season goes on. And there was no bigger opportunity than City, especially a City team. And you can say, oh, they don't have legs in the middle of the park. When you are intense against them, you can get something from the game. Paris Saint-Germain did it. Nottingham Forest did it. A lot of the teams have done the same way. They've been intense against Manchester City. They've gotten something out of the game. Most of them have actually gotten wins. But in the English Premier League, this is their last 5 games. Somewhere we need 4 of them. And it tells you say the blue moon is really getting back. And then they are beginning to play well again. But I think City did not win the game because City were better than Chelsea. I think that City won the game because Enzo, Maresca, and 3 other people made mistakes. But 3 people made serious mistakes and they caused Chelsea game. And for me, it starts with coach and friend Enzo Maresca. City set up in Omar Mamouche as a second striker with Erling Haaland up top. Now, the width that they had wasn't from a natural winger. So, starting lineup now. City did not play with Doku, Anase, Grealish. They are regular wingers. They didn't play with any of them. They played Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Kovacic in the middle of the park. Then they had Omar Mamouche as a second striker setup, but then having the freedom and then the license to roam and then rotate around. Then Erling Haaland up top. And I wait and I know more they got it in a branch your friend Matthias Nunez and Josko Vardiol, who were coming from full-back positions. Josko Vardiol from left back, and then Abrantia, your friend Matthias Nunez from right back, because they had enough numbers in the middle of the park in Gundogan, Kovacic, and Abrantia, friend Foden, and Fiifi-Manfred. So it was something that they were okay with. Now, Chelsea called game. It looked as if said Chelsea's plan wasn't particularly to press from the off. They will set off Kakra, especially for goalkeeper Edison. They won't press him too and they will allow him to do his thing. See, that was another plan also for City. City also decided not to press Robert Sanchez too much. They allowed him to do his thing. So that they can mark Chelsea man for man. So first goal na Chelsea share, was from Kosinova, a long clearance from Trevor Chalobah, and a Kosinov, and then Nicolas Jackson going to say duel. I mean, duel and Ankasa, nobody really won the duel. Born for late to Kosinov, or didn't he premier back to the goalkeeper because the ball was mid height level. No, when sharing to main generative powers, and that's the kind of pressure sometimes you are under when you are playing in the English Premier League game, first one in a big game like against Chelsea or Etihad, and there is a lot of nerves around, of course. So if you go on and read what Pep said after the game, the guy is an Uzbek, on say English. It is purely some amount of French, Russian, and then I think Belarusian, and a boy not say. He just cannot speak any other language. So Pep say communication was a little bit less. Or more the clubs know multilingual guys who are in charge of some of the things that they do. So I think that's where Pep was able to do translation during training sessions, any tactical sessions before the game, for him. But away from that, on the field of play, he couldn't send instructions to him because he doesn't understand the language that the boy speaks. You have to develop that relationship. Of course, by the time Coach Novellas or Hedy Bonny come back, when he had enough power, Nicholas Jackson pounced on it and squared it to Noni Madueke. Now, this is where Enzo Maresca here in the first mistake. At that point in time, City were on the ropes. City looked worried. City caused two more mistakes from there again. Man City for G3, Chelsea for were able to win duels this animal. But for some reason, in game state, CBBC against a big team, I want to go on the field. And I said, like what plan, what pioneering, even more like in other sports like boxing, you're able to hit the opponent. The required thing to do, the advised thing to do is that you go in more aggressive. Or the pressure but to some more, or the pressure but to opponent some more. You put a lot of pressure on them. Once you put more pressure on them, you are expected, say you will rattle them some more, they will make more mistakes, and then you will win the game. But Chelsea sat off from there, and that's why I think that in game state, Enzo Maresca really got it strong. Maybe he was too much of a coward. Maybe he was too careful. Whatever the reason is, but in game state, it was clear, especially when Chelsea were 1-0 up. You could tell that Enzo Maresca decided to stick with the original game plan. I mean, you can discuss the pros and cons of the original game plan of, okay, Chelsea go too aggressive, City can go in behind and stuff like that. But you kill off the game there. So Enzo Maresca after the game, I say there was other opportunities. Yes, when Chelsea even sat off normal pressing aggressive, there was another opportunity from the break, from the counter attack that came to our brand friend Cole Palmer. Maybe Cole Palmer should have gone on directly himself. But of course, all square ball, no Emma Brant's friend Nicholas Jackson. That pass wasn't good. Nicholas also low in confidence went man call one time when he left foot. And now, Born Ekoye, Chelsea missed that chance. From there, City were going into it. I see. I've said this thing and I'll say it again. In the modern game of football, everybody has their man. Obia ni medjuma esoye. Obi ojina park ni subiano. Oni medjuma esoye. And yemi. And America say, okay, we need more. Chelsea was supposed to press without the ball, mid block, or OP out of possession plan in a 4-4-2. And when City fall overload certain part, we expect one of either Jadon Sancho or Noni Madueke to drop back. My style is not to single certain players out and then criticize them because it's a team sport. Even when players play well, we also give credit to the team. So, say, Neman Koyi for the player, sometimes you're supposed to give credit, you're supposed to also bash the whole team. But to be very honest with you, yesterday, Noni Madueke looked confused over the extremely poor over there for Noni Madueke in terms of the positioning. In fact, in the first half, I went onto Twitter and I said, Noni Madueke is not doing his job defensively. And to be very honest, he wasn't doing his job defensively. Josko Vardiol, who is not a natural fullback, was always every time able to get in there. And because of him, on the right-hand channel, Reece James was rather coming inside as inverted. Reece had more distance to cover. Into Kabak or Babaka. Omar Mamouche, the second striker, trying to attack that space. There is Josko Vardiol attacking the far post. And then Noni Madueke is always late. And he goes and he dovetails into what Enzo Maresca has said several times this season. Said Noni Madueke is the kind of player, if he does one thing right, he doesn't build on it, he just relaxes. And you could tell, like, it was just so relaxed. No chill to Festabina. He is so relaxed in the game. I mean, it was so pathetic. So after you talk about Enzo Maresca, you talk about Noni Madueke. Another player that really let Chelsea down. Oh, and you see, before that, about 3 or 4 times, now City for have come to that same area. So Rebecca, Josko Vardiol, Bobi across. Satano Mamouche outside. Noni Madueke was not there to pick up his man. The next one again. Then the last one, they did a very good run in behind. Chelsea, Marco Correa did a good recovery run. Ball, Robert Sanchez, or no crash, another problem. But once the ball fell to Josko Vardiol, Noni Madueke was not there to deal with Josko. And consistently, I kept on asking myself, say, I didn't know Noni Madueke too lax about a ball. And in fact, in that goal, Noni Madueke was close to Josko Vardiol. He slowed down and allowed Josko to go and didn't do anything about it. Went on, Josko tapped in. It was 1-1 in the 41st minute. And you see, these are some of the things that I keep on talking about, Noni. I mean, the off-the-ball job is so important. We talk about Bukayo Saka and all of these players at other clubs. One of the reasons why they get a lot of the products is that with the ball, they are solid. Without the ball, they don't sit back, because in the modern game, and especially with how Enzo Maresca plays it out of possession shape now, you need everybody to be switched on, man for man. I say, oh, be switched on 100%. Into one person gets switched on, you're in trouble. And generally, you could see some Maresca passive defensive approach, failing in the first half, and it fell apart in my opinion, forming a back five and sometimes even a six. That wasn't any particular shape because Chelsea were trying to keep up with City's rotations. So Enzo Fernandez began man-marking Foden, Caicedo on Ike Gundogan, James on Marmoush, Madueke supposedly on Guardiola. Of course, they didn't do enough. Chelsea were just pinned back at that point in time, and then they tried to go in and out. So for me, even before the architect in chief, which is Robert Sanchez, Enzo Maresca let Chelsea down, Noni Madueke let Chelsea down, and obviously Robert Sanchez, he doesn't deserve a place for Chelsea Football Club. To be very, very honest, I don't think that Robert Sanchez has done enough to deserve a place in there in terms of what he's going to do on for Chelsea Football Club and what you get from him. It is not. And then, however, some good news that's coming out from the transfer conversation. And now, the good news I hear and it's Abrantia, your friend Matthias Tell at FC Bayern München. Matthias Tell has come out and he has told Bayern Chiefs for him, said, oh, Chelsea called Matthias Tell home first time now. What Matthias told him that his first priority is to try and succeed or Bavaria or Germany. But in about the last 5 matches, 3 of them, he has been an unused sub or bench. The last time in the German Bundesliga, Bayern München went away to go and play. In some match, again, Abrantia friend Matthias Tell was an unused sub for them. He didn't play in that game. And what we are picking up, and then after the phones began to beep, and it's when we had conversations, extended ones, and then looked into the details of what may going on with Abrantia friend Matthias Tell, what we are hearing, and he said, Matthias, air catcher, Obia said, there's a possibility someone he may change his mind and then move to Chelsea. And according to Fabrizio Romano, Matthias is a scenario. He is a player that will probably help the team with respect to goals from outside. Chelsea need goals, especially now that Nicolas Jackson goes to Ember. Now Obitse, Christopher and Kuku also back on. He can't even influence the game. He can't impact the game. He doesn't really do too much. He doesn't do enough. No. It's something that really Chelsea would be looking at to see. And Matthias Tell's position may be changing as of now. And in the last 24 hours now, Tell's situation has changed over there, especially given the fact that he has not played football, has been used and unused sub for a while now for FC Bayern München. There is still a chance that Matthias Tell could leave FC Bayern München over there, and Chelsea are still keen. That means that Matthias Tell and Adrian so by Chelsea, then most likely Christopher and Kuku is going to go the other way. There's going to be Christopher and Kuku or the other side to go and make sure say the BIB come out in that regard. So we'll wait to see. Of course, in the last few days, I brought Chelsea for the Garnacho won't come on. What happened was that Manchester United for Bisa said Chelsea ain't me for 100 Garnacho Crampona. Can they get a Manchester friend Christopher and Kuku on loan to FC Manchester United? And Chelsea Forum have told them that it is not possible. Anybody that will get in Kuku in January will get him at a fee and then permanently, not dry loan, whatever loan. It's not going to happen. That's something that's not going to happen. Chelsea will let their boys go on full-time loan, and as a UBTSK and sign when you're on Sadia, mom boys not in foot club them or obviously, of course, in Matthias Tell Korea, then there's going to be Christopher and Kuku that's going to go the other way at FC Bayern München. Chelsea have looked at Bournemouth for issue, and now when you look at the centre back pair, Chelsea boy, I think Wesley Fofana really. I think Wesley Fofana really complements Levi Cole, Elwich. And in the last few games where Wesley Fofana has been out, everything has come down. Everything has just plummeted for Chelsea. Every defensive play, everything has just come down to be very, very bad with Chonum. And it's affecting the team so much. And if you have somebody like Wesley Fofana on the right hand side, Nasser regimes also as a right fullbacker, it's enough to deal with Omar Mamouche and Valdeomo rotations. But that was not enough. And I think that Chelsea needed Fofana to stay fit. It was one of the key things. People do not even see this. But it's clear that Chelsea needs a centre back and somebody that's dominant, that can defend on the front foot, that can be aggressive, that can step up into danger and then nick it. Like all of those things, he can do it and do it well. Because it is very clear that Chelsea don't look like they have that man at the back. Even with Trevor Chalobah, yesterday I was a little bit hard on him on Twitter, but he's not a guy that can really take the club to the next level in terms of the kind of defending not Wesley Fofana. So it means that Chelsea are still looking for centre backs, a priority in the summer. I just think that the sporting directors only believe that Chelsea can get top 4 with this team, and then Yami Adoma next summer they'll go in and go and look for proper reinforcement at certain places, especially at centre back, on the wing and stuff like that. That's why maybe they're not doing deals in January, because if you don't take care, it's too much to buy for a player for at a certain age and stuff like that. But you still have to go in and make that purchase. No? And of course, what we are hearing, and it's that Chelsea really do like Bournemouth for centre back, Dean Huijsen, and Chelsea see him as highly rated. They see him as a top talent, and he's on the list of centre backs that Chelsea may know. And in fact, the good thing is that our Huijsen contract, there is a release clause. There is a release clause into any negotiations, any matamako, any minamaye, you know. I mean, there is a release clause in there. So once you say that you like the player, you go in there, you have discussions, you look at the player, you look at the kind of quality I open. Does he fit that quality? Then you go and pay the amount of money in terms of release clause now to you give it to the player to go and buy himself out of it, and everything goes on well. And that's something that Chelsea are looking at doing. In the post-match press conference, beside Enzo Maresca about the bigger picture, and he said something that Chelsea are better now than even they were 2 months ago. And I agree with Enzo Maresca. Chelsea are not better now than they were 2 months ago. I mean, as at this point in time, there is no way Chelsea are better now. When you have a conversation around the club, when you look at the result at Chelsea in recent times, there's no way you tell me that Chelsea are better off now than they were 2 months ago. That's so wrong from Enzo Maresca. And Enzo Maresca should be very careful, especially being too stubborn with the goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. If he doesn't take care, he loses the fan base. Everybody knows how toxic Chelsea fans can be. Another Managerial merry-go-round will spell doom for the club. And Enzo Maresca needs to be really, really, really careful. And yes, there's trouble looming for him. I mean, that's it with the transfer update. And now, after that, Senna Chelsea for an extra gunner. Andre Santos, Small Strasbourg were getting their goals and they were playing some good football while Chelsea were struggling against Manchester City. But that's it. We'll draw the curtain here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Yami Adoma, anyway, after the Barca game, we'll be back with some post-match analysis, and Yami Adoma will start up another good week. So until then, do take care and bye-bye.